Phalaenopsis orchids are some of the most common orchids you can find. You could get them in grocery stores, big box stores, they're all over the place. I find them a little bit tricky, and just given how common they are, I want to share some of the reasons why they're so tricky and share how to care for them successfully. Now, I have a ton of videos that you could check out on the different kinds of Phalaenopsis, how to care for them in depth, but this is going to be focused on the problems and how to overcome them. Before jumping in, if you guys are interested in working more closely with me, consider joining the membership where I answer your specific questions and videos, as well as provide care guides and access to a chat where we can troubleshoot issues together. So let's get into it. So Phalaenopsis seem easy because they're widely available. They bloom in very low light conditions, and the blooms tend to last a really long time. There's a lot of different kinds of Phalaenopsis. There's the no IDs that you find, as well as novelty Phals as well that have some fragrance to them. You care for them a little bit differently, but they have a lot of things in common where you think they're easy, but they have their quirks. Like, for instance, crown rot. So the spot right between the leaves, when you water, you can't get water into that or else it can rot them. That's not the case with a lot of other orchids. So they're more prone to rot than some other orchids. So you have to be very careful when you're watering them. They also hate staying wet, but they also hate drying completely. So it's like kind of annoying because you have to get the water balance right. And most people tend to overwater Phals. Most people give too much water. So if you give too much water, it rots the roots. So what do we have to do here? Phals are monopodial orchids. They don't have any storage units like Cattleyas, Oncidiums, Dendrobiums. So they need plenty of water. But because they're also epiphytes, they grow on trees, they need plenty of air around the roots. That's why a lot of people use bark. You need some airy medium. That being said, they hate staying dry too long because they don't have anything that can sustain them like some of the other orchids. So they're not super drought tolerant. And I find that that's the case, especially with mini Phals. They're a lot smaller, they're in smaller pots, they dry out faster. So you have to stay on top of the watering. The best way to water a Phalaenopsis is to run water through it, being very careful with the top of the crown. Let it drain, then you could put it back in a decorative pot if you have one, but you cannot let it sit in water. That's one of the most common issues with Phalaenopsis. So crown rot, I would say, is the biggest issue, the most common, and then also watering them too much. But something else that we have to factor in is light. So a lot of people think, okay, they're low light, so they're low maintenance. I find that if you give them bright indirect light, they do great. They give you more blooms. So even though it's a low light orchid, you want to make sure you're not giving direct sun. Giving them sufficient light helps them grow better. So don't just tuck them in a dark corner. You have to give them some sort of good light and they'll grow well for you. You have to water them abundantly, but let them drain. Because I grow indoors, I use fluffy moss for my Phalaenopsis and they tend to do quite well. These are the roots of my Phal. I top it off with bark, but it is in mostly sphagnum moss. I would say this mix is probably 80-20. Sphagnum moss. If you live in a very humid environment, you could use bark. The moss will retain moisture and could rot the roots, but you want to water abundantly, let it drain, and then re-water as it's approaching dryness. So they hate being dry too long. That is especially the case with minis, as I mentioned. So don't let them stay dry too long. There's also differences in the novelty Phals and the standard Phalaenopsis. So the novelty Phals or the summer blooming Phals, they need to be hot, and they're warm to hot growers, whereas regular Phalaenopsis, they're more temperate, so the care is a bit different. The most common ones, you want to keep the temperatures above 65 degrees. And then when the blooms fall off, it doesn't mean that the orchid is dead. It means that the blooming cycle is done, but then the flowers tend to come back once a year in the fall. In order to trigger the blooms, you need to drop the temperature a little bit in the fall. And if you have it near a window, it's usually pretty natural. The temperature will drop a little bit and then it'll trigger their spikes. This is my Phal schilleriana. It's starting to spike right now. And in the fall, lots of Phals start spiking. They start spiking because of that temperature drop. So you do need to give it a drop, but you don't want them to get below 60 or 65 degrees or else it's too cold. Especially you don't want them wet too long. But you have to strike that right balance. Give them more light, give them bright and direct light. An LED light is perfect. An east-facing window is great. A southern-facing window, just filter it. Same thing with a western-facing window. Northern-facing may not be enough to get it to bloom, but give them good light. They're pretty heavy feeders. They have big structures, so fertilize them regularly. I'm a fan of weekly fertilizing. I use MSU fertilizer, but everyone's different with how they prefer to fertilize. So I think you can find your own rhythm and do well with it, but don't over fertilize. So when I first started growing, I would over fertilize and burn the roots. So when you get an orchid, don't think more is better. Sometimes less is better. So half strength every other week, quarter strength weekly. That's how I kind of go about it. So you find your rhythm. You could even fertilize monthly, but fertilizer isn't the biggest factor compared to the light and watering properly. Something else I notice is that pots sometimes are too big for the Phalaenopsis. So you want to put it in a pot where it's big enough to accommodate the root system, but it's not swimming in so much media that it's going to stay wet too long. That means that the roots are going to rot. So you want to be careful. And the right way to go about it is use an appropriately sized pot. This one is in a 5-inch pot and it accommodates the root system just fine. The minis, you have to take really good care of them because they tend to be in much smaller pots. They're in 2 or 3-inch pots, which means that it dries so quickly. So my fatalities in the beginning were mostly minis because I watered on a schedule once a week and it was too much time in between. They would dry way too long because they would dry. I would have them in bark. They would be dry in 1 or 2 days. So I ended up moving to moss so I could maintain moisture. But if you have small minis and tiny pots, you have to pay real close attention to watering them as they approach dryness. If they're dry, that's fine. Just make sure they don't stay dry for extended periods of time. And this is also the case with seedlings. Phal seedlings tend to be way more sensitive as well. So the common Phalaenopsis that you see in grocery stores and big box stores, they tend to bloom once per year. So when the flowers are done, don't worry about it. You could cut the spike off, or if you want to rebloom the orchid and it's healthy, you can cut it at a node. So in between one of these little joints there, and then it can trigger another spike to branch off. But what I like to do is I'll let it bloom for however long it blooms, and then I'll cut it off at the base so that it could focus on growing a new leaf, growing new roots. Because if you trim the spike at the node between a joint there, one of these, this is still growing, so this is not really the best example, but you see how there's 2 nodes? You would trim between them, the ones further on top, right before the flowers. If you do trim it, you're not going to get a big show. You're just going to get kind of like a weak show. So I just trim it back at the very base and then get a really nice show the next year. You do need to give a slight temperature drop for those. And then it's this time of year, everything is starting to spike. So if you've had a phal in your care, now is when you'll start seeing spikes at the base of those orchids. The novelty and summer blooming phals, they tend to bloom pretty much year round, mostly. Outside of winter though, they bloom from spring to fall. They have fragrant blooms. My LD's Bear King smells like oranges, well, orange Tic Tacs. And then my LD's Bear Queen, it smells like lime and lilac. It's very interesting. So there's some really good ones. Those need to stay warmer, so you don't want to give them the same cooler temperatures. So you could get a heat mat if you have lower temperatures, but in general, in the wild, these orchids like a variation in the day and night temperature under naturally because the lights kind of warm everything up. And then when you turn them off, the temperatures go down about 10 degrees. And if you have something by a window, that's usually accomplished as well because the temperatures outside drop. But be careful with drafts with all of your phals. They don't like it cold. Never go below 60 degrees for a phal. And if you have a summer blooming phal, I would say 65, 70 degrees on the low end to keep them happy and growing quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you've had trouble with your phals and if you found this helpful. There's more care videos right here with specifics on exactly how you need to repot them and care for them, etc. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.